Good morning, class. Kindly stand up, and Miss Maglashon kindly lead us the prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So good morning again, class. How are you feeling today? You're good, happy, sad, or lonely? So, you know what, class? It's okay to feel sad. Your emotion and your feelings is valid. But I want you to remember to keep moving forward, no matter what happened, no matter how are you feeling today. Just keep moving forward. All right. So I want you to be ready. I want you to ready yourself as we begin our new topic for today. So here is our classroom rules. Everyone kindly read. First, listen when the teacher is talking. Second, raise your hand to speak or ask a question. Third, be respectful to everyone. And fourth, always try your best and never give up. So good morning again, class. Before we begin our new topic, let's try to remember what we talked about in our last lesson. So I will call random students to answer. Just share your thoughts. All answers are accepted. Alright? So here is the question. Question number 1. What strategy do you think helps students understand a story and why? Yes, Miss Padla, you have an answer? Oh, right, very good. Using pictures helps you imagine the story better. That's right, so let's give her a round of applause. So, how about Miss Maglashon? Oh, group discussion helps you because you can share ideas. Very good. Let us give her also a round of applause. Good, so let's have the second question. Why do you think teachers need to choose the right strategy when teaching a story? Yes, Miss Habani. Alright, because students learn differently. Very good. How about Miss Glenda? It helps you or us to stay focused. Exactly. How about you, Miss Giselle? Yes, it helps us remember the story better. So great, class. Based on your answers, it seems that you remember what we learned last time. So good job. So now, let's move on to our warm-up activity. So I have here a mystery box, and inside, there are different picture cards. Everyone, kindly read the instructions at the screen. Alright, so when I call your name, just pick one card from the box and place it under one of the two empty columns in the board. The columns are not labeled, so use your own idea to decide where your picture fits. Alright? Okay, let's start with Mr. Amancio. Click one card and place it on the board where you think it belongs. Right? Next is Miss Cuento. Pick one card. Thank you. Alright, so everyone is done. Okay, so now let's check if their answers are correct. Let's take a look at the two categories on the board. So, what do you notice about the pictures in each category? Yes. Thank you. How about what do you think the pictures in category 1 are used for? Or how about the pictures in category 2? Very good. I can see that you are already thinking deeply. So everything you group on the board is actually used by teachers when teaching prose. So in category 1, we have things like textbooks, slides, internet icons, and writing prompts. And these are things that help the teacher teach the lesson. So these are called what? Yes, Miss Padla? Very good. These are called instructional materials. So how about in category 2? We have here the rubrics, the surveys, the portfolios, and focus group symbols, right? So these are used to check or measure if students learn something. So these are called, yes, Mr. Bahenta? Very good. These are called assessment tools. So a round of applause to everyone. So for today's lesson, our topic is, yes, Mr. Amancho, you're right. Our topic for today is all about instructional materials and assessment tools in teaching PROSE. Thank you, Mr. Amancho.
Learning objectives is at the end of the session, the learners will be able to identify instructional materials and assessment tools in teaching PROSE. Second, evaluate the usefulness of these materials and tools. Our next activity is called Unscramble the Words. So, instruction. The class will be divided into 4 groups. Each group receives a set of scrambled words of items used in teaching PROSE. Groups scramble the words together, okay? So when we say together, we have here the collaboration. Each member should collaborate to unscramble the word. And after solving, groups classify each word into instructional materials or assessment tools. Then, fifth, groups post their answer on the board if they are done. Are we clear, class? Yes. So, your time starts now. So now, we have again here our next activity. With the same group, we have 4 groups, diba? We have 4 groups kanina, and the instruction is with the same group, choose one instructional material and one assessment tool in teaching PROSE. Then explain each if why it is important in teaching PROSE. So you have to explain your chosen instructional materials and assessment tools in teaching PROSE. Then choose at least 2 representatives to present each output briefly. Again, listen carefully with the same group. We have already 4 groups kanina in our last activity. So you have to choose one instructional materials and one assessment tool in teaching PROSE. Then explain each of why it is important in teaching PROSE. Then you have to choose at least 1 or 2, maybe 1, or if your members is confident, then you can let them present each output that you have chosen in 2 minutes only. 2 if I know 4 I mean 5 rather 5 minutes. So are we clear, class? Are we clear, class? Very good. So now your time starts now.
Before we start our discussion, I would like to ask a few questions to check what you already know. First, what is prose? Yes, Miss Cuento. Very good. Prose is a form of writing that uses sentences and paragraphs. It includes short stories, essays, and articles. Next, what instructional materials and assessment tools can we use in teaching prose? Yes, Miss Duwatan. Correct. Instructional materials include textbooks, stories, visual aids, and assessment tools. Include quizzes, written activities, and comprehension questions. Teachers use many instructional materials to make prose easier to understand. So these materials help students follow the story, see the important parts, and stay engaged. So let's talk about each one. So number one, or the first one, is the imprinted materials. So everyone kindly read. Alright, so printed materials, these are books or readings we use in class. It gives the actual text so students can read, analyze, and underline important ideas. So how about you? Do you have any idea what is printed materials? Yes, Miss Quento. Very good. Printed materials help students focus on the story because they can see the words directly. Very good. And also students can read at their own pace, right? So these texts serve as guides whenever students forget the details. Just like, for example, textbooks, anthologies, sample readings. So next is the lesson plan. Everyone, kindly read. Thank you. So lesson plan is the teacher's guide. So it tells the teacher what to teach, how to teach, how to teach it, and what activities to use. So for you, what is lesson plan? Miss Kabilugan? Very good. So lesson plan keeps the teacher organized. Yes, you're right. And also it makes sure the lesson has a clear beginning, middle, and end. And also it helps the teacher to know what the students need to learn. Am I correct? Yes, thank you. So the examples of lesson plan is daily lesson log or DLL and detailed lesson plan or DLP. Next is the curriculum guides. So kindly read. Thank you. So curriculum guides, these are documents that show the standards and goals for each grade level. So they help teachers know what competencies to teach. So in your own words, what do you think is the meaning of these curriculum guides? Yes? Mr. Ali Bangbang? Very good. Curriculum guides help ensure that all schools teach the same important lessons. A round of applause. So they tell teachers what students should be able to do after the lesson. And they make sure the lesson follows the DepEd requirements. Just like, for example, the DepEd K-12 English Curriculum Guide, the most essential learning competencies or MOOCs, so and so on. So next is the slide presentation. Everyone kindly read. Thank you. So what do you think is slide presentation? Yes, Miss Padla. Yes, exactly. Slide presentation helps students follow the flow of the discussion, right? Just like what we're doing now. So slides make the lesson more interesting because of the pictures, the colors, and videos, and they help explain difficult concepts through visuals. And most importantly, they organize information so students don't get confused, right? Yes. So the examples are PowerPoint lessons, Google Slides, Canvas slide templates for literature. So now we have internet resources. Internet resources, these give extra information that cannot be found in the book. The internet also provides videos and readings that help students understand the story better. Yes, Miss Kayla, you have an idea? Yes, you're right. So it helps students explore the author's background or story, or setting of the story. And yeah, so the examples are YouTube videos explaining authors or stories, online articles about literary elements, ebooks or PDF readings, and educational websites. So these instructional materials make teaching prose more meaningful, and they guide the teacher, support the student learning, and make the lesson easier to understand.
So now, before we delve into our next topic, I'll ask you, what are those instructional materials in teaching prose once again? What are those instructional materials in teaching prose? If you have listened sa kanina nga gi-present with my co-teacher. Yes, we have printed materials, lesson plan, slide presentation or PPT, state, school, district, and particular institution, curriculum, guidelines, and lastly, we have internet. Very good. So now, I'm going to discuss the assessment tools in teaching prose. So first we have rubrics. I have questions. So why do you think rubrics is under in assessment tools in teaching prose? Why do you think rubrics is under in assessment tools in teaching prose? Yes po? Yes. So, rubrics brings clarity, consistency, and objectivity to the evaluation of complex and subjective work. So, rubrics used for essays, story analysis, projects, and show clear criteria. So we have here K types of rubrics. We have analytic rubric, holistic rubric, and checklist. So when we say analytic rubric, breaks down performance into separate distinct criteria. Example, content organization, mechanics, and gives a score for each one. How it works, then when to use it. For formative assessment. So analytic rubric is for formative assessment to diagnose specific strength and weaknesses, and also complex project where detailed feedback is needed. So next we have holistic rubric. So how it works, holistic rubric provides a single or overall score for the entire performance with a single description for each level. So when to use holistic rubric. So for summative assessment. So holistic rubric is for summative assessment to give a final grade when a quick overall judgment of quality is sufficient. So lastly, we have checklists, a simpler tool that only requires a yes, no, or present, absent check for a list of necessary components. So when to use it, when to use checklist? For simple procedures or when checking for the inclusion of required elements, like a bibliography or certain formatting steps. Example, rubric for story analysis, rubric for essay writing, and rubric for performance task. So next we have focus groups. Focus groups gather honest insights from students after reading a story. So example, small group discussion about the theme, group sharing of personal reactions to the characters that they read in the story, or peer discussion about moral lesson in the story. So in focus group, it is more on insight no, that every learner's reaction to the story nga ilang nabasa. So next we have portfolio. So I know every one of you already know the portfolio. So we have two types of portfolio, di ba? Portfolio, the portfolio, something like the hard copy portfolio, and the e-portfolio. So portfolios, it collection of students' work showing progress in writing and analysis. Examples, it is compilation of reading logs, a collection of reading reflections, katong e-portfolio, then folder of essays, drafts, and final output. So when are we going to use portfolio gani? Yes. Yes po. Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. So next we have structured interviews. Check comprehension through guided question. Example, teacher asked, who is the main character of that story? Or questions like, what is the conflict of that story? And guided discussion about the plot or moral lesson. So it's somewhat like pagkutaan ka after nimo paghuman read anang literary books, literature or what. So then next we have surveys. Surveys is gather reflection and understanding after reading a novel or short story. So example, quick rating scale, rate your understanding to 1 to 5. Item reflection form, then short feedback survey in the story.
Now that we have discussed the different instructional materials and assessment tools in teaching PROSE, it's your turn to create your own. So this is an individual activity and you will finish it within 15 minutes. Alright? So you will choose one task to work on. So you may pick whichever you are more comfortable with. Okay? So we have here the option A. It's whether you like to create an instructional material. So like for example, a simple graphic organizer, a writing prompt, a mini slide, just 2 to 3 slides only, a short text activity, a guided reading question set. And also you can choose the option B, to create an assessment tool. So examples, a simple rubric, a 3-item quiz, a checklist, a short reflection task, and a quick performance task. Alright? So you can use any paper or device you have. The goal is not to make it perfect, but to show that you understand how these tools work. And also, when presenting your work, please answer these guide questions. So just read it. You can see it in the screen. So first question, what did you create? Second, how will it help in teaching PROSE? And third, why is it useful? So I will walk around to check your progress. Just make sure your work is simple but clear. So after 15 minutes, a few volunteers will present their outputs using the guide questions. So is that clear, class? Is that clear? Yes. Thank you. So your 15 minutes starts now.
So now our next activity is you have to answer the question in one whole sheet of paper within 5 minutes. Again, answer the questions in one whole sheet of paper within 5 minutes only. So we have here 3 questions. Number 1, as a future teacher, name one instructional materials you can use to teach a story and explain how it helps students. Again, number 1, as a future teacher, name one instructional materials you can use to teach a story and explain how it helps your future students. Number 2, name one assessment tool you can use to check if your students understood the story and explain how it helps you as a teacher. Again, name one assessment tool you can use to check if your students understood the story and explain how it helps you as a teacher. Number 3, imagine imagine you are teaching a short story. Which instructional materials and assessment tools will you use and how will you use them? Again, imagine you are teaching a short story. Which instructional material and assessment tool will you use and how will you use them? In 5 minutes, you have to answer those questions and I'll give you the rubrics for the guidelines. Am I clear, class? Okay, so your time starts now.
For your assignment, please open your notebooks. You will answer 2 short tasks based on our lesson today. So, assignment. Write 2 instructional materials used in teaching PROSE and explain their purpose. Second, write 2 assessment tools used in teaching PROSE and explain what they measure. So you can use this rubric to guide you in making your answers clear. I will base your points in this rubric. So, and also, this will be passed tomorrow. So, is that clear, class? If it's clear, have any questions, clarifications? Just feel free to ask. Feel free to voice it out. So none. So I think that will be all for our topic today. I hope that you've learned something and I hope this lesson helps you in understanding how to teach PROSE better. So goodbye and thank you everyone. God bless.